that I manifested in my body was one that is shared by several members of my family, and so I was of the belief that I'm genetically predisposed, and therefore it made sense that it would show up when I was under stress, and these symptoms showed up and flittered through and would arrive and disappear and arrive and disappear and arrive and disappear. And finally, after about 5 years, the symptoms settled in, and I was finally given a diagnosis. I had gone to the doctor several times and said, test me for this, test me for this, test me for this, because it's in my family, test me for this, and then the definitive test would always come back negative. But after a while, it finally did come back positive. So my biggest manifestation of the condition is to have reaction to sun exposure with a skin rash that would not go away, that required corticosteroids to treat. And so eventually I just had to stay out of the sun, which was unfortunate because I like the sun. But when I started this journey, I'm really glad that I started with the scientific evidence part, because it had to make sense in my head before I could go forward with all the other pieces. But there were two major shifts that happened for me, and they were in the explanation of, first of all, the explanation of the nocebo effect was very helpful, and kind of, I think, set up my mind and my body for healing. The first big thing was during the month of forgiveness, when Debbie talked about co-creation. And the explanation, as I understand it, is that we are all source, and source comes into physical form for this lifetime, a short amount of time, with the intent of contrast, so that in order to have a clarity, without contrast there is no clarity. So if you don't realize or don't come to know or understand or recognize the contrast in your life, you continue to live in that contrast. You'll be given various perspectives of that contrast, different shades of the same pile of stuff, which was indeed my case. And rather than from a point of shit happens, it's like I was vibrating in that contrast, and so therefore more of that came to me, which was mind-blowing for me. It made everything suddenly made sense of why the relationships that I had were the way they were. All those things, everything that ever happened to me, pretty much, that was in the contrast, was suddenly explained. And it was an amazing revelation for me. It's like, okay, so now now that I know what my contrast is, now I can see clarity big time, and it's big clarity. The other thing that happened was a couple of weeks after that, again, still, I'm pretty sure during the forgiveness module, was that we did a meditation, and I call it the genie meditation just because it had such a profound effect on me. It started off with going into a mansion, and portraits on the walls were, or in different rooms, were of various ages and stages of yourself. And we were to look at those, gaze into the eyes of the pictures of us at various life ages and stages, and just feel what came back to us. And that meditation, I think, lasted a few minutes, but it wasn't really working, wasn't doing anything for me. So so Divi shifted, was really good. Divi shifted it to what I call the genie meditation, and that's where you looked inwards and you imagined a genie, and this genie is your source, your true self, your inner being, your source. And then to feel what your source was, how your source was looking at you and feeling for you. And for me, I saw literally like Barbara Eden Genie in front of me, and she exuded such unconditional love. It was amazing. I had never felt anything like that in my entire life. And pure happiness and giggling and joy and hugs. I could feel the energy in my heart. Just pure joy and pure love, and big hugs and big smiles and laughing, and it was really quite amazing. Like those, like I'm pretty sure I had never in my conscious recollection ever felt such amazing unconditional love. It was, I took it in. It went into, it shifted my cellular everything. It just shifted everything, I'm sure. So I had a habit of, or did have a habit of having blood work done to track, how my condition was. And I had been on thyroid medication, and I was on antidepressants for a while, and in March I went off those medications of my own accord, unbeknownst to Divvy while she was still practicing. But my TSH was, before medication, hovered around 6, and my CRP, which is an indicator of inflammation, was also usually around 6. I think in January or February when I'd been tested, it was at 8, which was the highest I'd seen it for a while, but it had always run up there. Normal is below 3. So I was feeling really good, and I decided, you know what, it's time. I'm feeling really good, and I'm in the flow, and everything has shifted for me. Everything has shifted for me. How I approach my work, how I approach my day, my focus has shifted now to, the most important thing for me is to feel good. And what do I need to do right now to feel good? And I've really latched on to some of the tools and techniques that Divya has taught. So recently, a couple of weeks ago, I had my tests redone, and my TSH was 4.2, well within the normal range, and I've been off medication for 2 months, well, almost 3 months, and my CRP was 2. I could not believe it. Well, I stopped myself from saying I can't believe this. Like, yes, I do believe it. This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm not inflamed. My body has readjusted. My body is producing healthy cells. My body is reacting in a normal, healthy manner. And I was just elated by, the fact that, whew, there's my proof. I was feeling really good, and there you go, see, proof. And I told everyone that I worked with, look at this number, can you believe that? Wow, isn't this amazing? And I told Divvy about it as well, and she was quite pleased, and as amazed as I was. But we know these things. Then a couple of weeks ago, or last week actually, I went out in the sun purposely. I use sunscreen, but I still ended up with a small sunburn. And rather than one little inkling of, oh no, it's going to happen again, came into my mind, I shut it down right away and said, you know what? Your body is capable of healing itself. You already know that. Your body is producing healthy cells. Your skin regenerates every 7 days. So within 7 days, you will have normal, healthy skin, maybe a little tan if you're lucky. And you won't need anything to help it along except for your good, happy thoughts. And that's exactly what has happened. No medication, no corticosteroids, no nothing. And the rash was very minor, it went away, and now it's pretty much gone. So that's my story, and I'm very grateful to Divvy that I found her.